On the road to Hour of Health Happy next week. This program was by Dr. Sarah Tabassi. Business once in a lifetime. Set sail August 16th through the 23rd on the Alaska cruise with me, Mike Gallagher, and our friends Larry Elder and Jennifer Horn, Joe Piscopo. Experience breathtaking glaciers, fjords, and wildlife, all while diving into critical discussions about America's future with hundreds of like-minded patriots on the ship. Cabins are going fast. Text TRAVEL to 94878 right now to secure your spot before it's too late. Just text the keyword TRAVEL to 94878 for the Patriots Alaska cruise. In a world where trust is fading, where superior service feels like a thing of the past, one man stands apart, ready to fight for you. Scott Strohmeyer, media strategist.
Yeah, that's Scott.
I believe in truth, justice, and good creative advertising. I have over 25 years of experience fighting for my clients with clever copy, vivacious voiceovers, strategic social media, and bold broadcast advertising. When you need a hero you can count on, honest, hardworking, and always on your side, Scott Strohmeyer. No gimmicks, no nonsense, just real marketing power that puts you first. Because in the battle for great advertising, you become a champion. Call Scott Strohmeyer, 818-662-3745.
Let's turn down volumes. Log on to our platforms. Hey, platforms are being logged onto.
Platformed. Let's see what's going on here. What's going on here?
Yeah, for some reason, no Insta again tonight. I'll try to look at it this week. I got a couple days off at the beginning of the week, so I'll dabble on Tuesday.
Yeah, we got to build something on there anyway. We got to find a way to, because it's a whole different platform and all that. It's kind of interesting to watch on there, but I think
It's harder.
Yeah.
Okay, so with the other four up, so. And I'll just wait for you to key the video. You'll give me a.
Why don't you start the bottom of the hour with it?
Do that coming back as the intro?
Yeah.
As the rejoin?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll swing that with him, so we'll do that at 6:30.
Okay. Or you know what? If worst case, just hold it till next week. And we could just do it regular.
It's all set up. I'm ready to go.
Oh.
I just didn't know how you wanted to utilize it. If you wanted to, like, give your buddy a little props for doing it for you and say, here it is.
Yeah, let's do that. We'll do that second segment.
Okay, we'll just, like I said, I'll just wait for you to call for it.
Okay.
And I got it set up so it'll feed direct to the video stream, and then it's going to feed through here so you guys can hear it, and it'll hit the airwaves as well, all the stations as well.
Cool.
I did that. Got it figured out this afternoon, though.
I got AI stuff.
Jennifer Horn here. The Southern California half-price tuition program is going on right now. Enroll your child's branch.
Yeah, somebody comes up with a company called Cyberdyne. We better all. Yeah.
Hal, please open the airlock.
I don't think so.
I'm sorry, Dave. I can't do that, Dave.
United States Deputy Sheriff's Association is a national nonprofit and America's largest non-governmental provider of services to law enforcement. USDSA assists city, county, state, and federal law enforcement.
The best was Airplane. We got to blow the computer. The computer's got a big.
Yeah. That movie.
It was truly at the time. It was a one of a kind.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
These are just some of the ways United States Deputy Sheriff's Association assists America's law enforcement and the citizens they serve.
Dodgers lost by 1 run with Otani on deck. And there's a buzzing sound on Facebook. Brian says, congratulations, Hud.
Thank you.
Ricky says, congratulations.
Well, to both of us. And actually to 4 of us, because John and Annie, too.
How cool was that? How cool was that?
Go out with a bang.
Boy.
Floating. Richard wants to talk about 38 special floating firing pin. He's got to have a dictionary of worst gun questions to ask.
He's like,
Well,
what
if
would
you
really...
throw it in a big vat of salt water, it will float. But if you throw it into a vat of fresh water, it will sink. Floating firing pins.
Yeah, I hate when that happens. I believe we're coming up. Oh.
Oh, I love that. Don't you quit now, Jeff. That says Ricky Riley. That's the Midwest talking right there. Hey, Dave.
You can trust.
This live program is sponsored by the Gunslinger Shops.
Hello, Mr. and Mrs. America and all the ships at sea. You're listening to Gunslingers, brought to you from behind the Iron Curtain on Radio Free California.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Gunslingers right here on
The Gunslinger Syndicated Radio Network.
That's us, because we are
Syndicated.
Syndicated. Yes, we are. We're all over, baby.
Man, we are on from San Diego to San Francisco, from LA to Phoenix to Vegas, and soon to Bakersfield.
Hey, gonna conquer the whole entire state.
Well, that ain't hard.
No. And not only are we on your AM dial or iHeartRadio and all those places, we are all over the internet. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Rumble. I think our Insta is down right now, but yeah, Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, and X right now. So just look for Gunslinger Auctions or Gunslinger Radio. Make sure you're liking the video. Make sure you're commenting with your questions and all. And make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of all this.
Yeah, because if you don't have the nerve to call in, because this is a live show, if you don't want to call in and ask us questions, feel free to send them on to there, and Jimmy will read them off, and we'll answer them
I
for
sure
you.
will, because we got a lot of people already on. We got Jonathan Doe, number 1, that just came up. But Kirk and Melissa, I know Deborah and Hendo are probably going to both be on right now. So all of us, everyone's on. I'm keeping track of it. So jump on. Make sure you're putting your question, your comment up there. And if we saw you this weekend at any of the events we were at, folks, at any of the events, jump on and make sure you let us know.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Everybody's a little blasted, so remember, you could make this show exciting.
yeah, well, I tell you what, this has been a week.
On top of your workload.
Well, yeah, I mean, hold on to your butts, because here we go. So Tuesday morning, I pull into the shop. No big deal. I park. We get into the store, open everything up. A nice gentleman comes in, and he says, I've got a collection of guns out in the car and some ammo and stuff, and I want to get rid of it all. So he comes in, and as I'm taking them in, man and a woman pull in a black car, and they get out, and I didn't pay that much attention to it because we get people in all the time.
All the time.
And then she came out with one of them little rolling suitcases, and I went, uh-oh.
Red flags, alarms going off.
This looks like business.
Oh, boy. Well, when you're in the firearm business, the Department of Justice, also known as DOJ, and ATF, of course, is alcohol, tobacco, firearms, and explosives, which shouldn't be a bureau, but a party. They can do what's called a spot audit once a year. Yeah, what is that buzzing?
Yeah, I hear it. I got a mosquito in my headphones.
Yeah, something's buzzing, Kevin. Anyway, so they can come in and do what's called a spot audit, and literally they can tell you to shut your store down, because they want to look at everything.
They riffle through your records.
And whatever they tell you or ask you, you comply. That's it. There's
all that is.
There's no talking back. There's no, there's
Now,
no.
they give you notice about this, right?
No,
It's
they
a
don't.
spot check, so
Yeah,
they can
that's
come
why-
by anytime.
hence the word
regardless
spot
of
audit.
what other you might be up to your elbows in.
Yeah, like trying to finish off the catalog for June 7th and 8th. So we're up to our eyeballs trying to get this done, and we're just about there. We're like rounding a third, heading to home. All we almost got left is pictures, and they showed up, and when they first got there, it was like I said, a male, female, and she was quite nice, and he was a little gruff in the beginning.
Yeah.
He
they don't know what they're running into sometimes.
well, and I know that the place before me was run a little roughshod. I'm not going to,
It's very, very important. These are bureaucrats, or government employees, and this is real significant stuff. It's very important to be absolutely meticulous in your record keeping, and you are, right?
We are. And
But the last guy?
Well, not so much. So I think they came in with the attitude of, oh boy, this is going to be rough. And, by day 2, they pretty much mellowed out. By day 3, it was actually...
By day 2, by day 3?
Yeah,
So this wasn't just an hour's cessation of business.
3 full days. And I mean, from open to close, they were there going through...
Rubber glove.
Well,
no Vaseline.
This is how I try and explain it to those that don't understand what a spot audit is. Imagine you're doing your homework in front of your parents, the teacher that scared you to death the most, and your principal, and by the way, you're butt naked.
And the guy who wrote the book on it.
Yes.
But in every case that you have mentioned, the penalty for not meeting their expectations is merely shame and dishonor. In the case of the ATF...
Yeah, they can just go, hey, you know what? Get that yellow tape because we're closing you down.
Shut it down.
Welcome to Handlebar Hotel.
So it is quite the journey. Let's just put it that way. But again, I have had some really. We had Beverly for years, But again, 27 years I've been doing this. So we had Beverly for probably the first 10, and she was fantastic. She was actually there to help you. If you weren't doing something right, she would not,
Instead of going to the stick, she'd say, "We
would-
want you to do it right."
Yeah,
Yes.
and exactly. And until this one last week, for like the last 17 years, it was, kind of like walking around with Darth Vader.
Oh, and by the way, may the 4th be with you.
Well
yeah,
played.
there you go.
I had to get it in.
It was very unpleasant, but these folks at the end of the day said that they were there to help us to make sure, and it's like, hey, I don't mind help, and I told them,
You want to do it right?
I told them, I make money at this. I'm here for the long haul. I don't cut corners. I don't do gray area. No. So, anything that you tell me that's going to help me, we will adjust and go to it. And they actually said that there were some things that we overdid.
Hey, better safe.
I was to say that's the right side of the aisle.
Yeah, if you're gonna falter to one way, that's the way to go.
Yes.
To the safe side. So they showed us some stuff that we don't have to do anymore, and it's like, okay, that's fine. And we had 3 pages of things that we had to fix, and I think there's 5 things on each page, and so we go into my office, we sit down, and I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Okay,
now the teacher.
Yeah, this is where the bad cop comes out. I'm just waiting. Okay, and she goes, oh no, you only have 3 pages. I'm like, Only 3 pages?
Only.
And we went through it fairly quick. It was all very simple. Most of the things we had already remedied. While they were there. They allowed me to fix them while they were there. Where I've had many that would not let me do that. It's like, it's missing my signature. I'm right here.
I can do this.
But they were totally, like, all right. And they worked with me, and it wasn't awful.
In fairness, it's got to be refreshing for them to interact with a professional who is mindful of the business.
I mean,
right?
we try and make it as pleasant as possible. I'll tell you a story. I won't mention which department, just because I don't want to, cast aspersions. But we had a guy come in and he wanted to do an audit. Okay, and he came in to the back. This is the very first store, and he sat down and he's going through paperwork. And I said, listen. if you need anything, the bathroom's there, refrigerator's there if you need a water. And he just looked at me and said, no.
That's helpful.
And I'm like, dude, I'm not trying to bribe you with water and a toilet.
How dare you?
I mean, come on.
I can do it myself.
Yeah, right. You know, it's like
Right here.
You know, okay. So you're into that. You're in therapy. I must say, okay. I don't know, but I'm not
And
kidding
I have
you.
my own water.
That's exactly what he said. No. It's like, and I actually, you know me, I actually
good
did
story.
say that. You know what I just said. So anyway, so we got through that, and so I'm to say I would be a little bit tired. I'm just a worrywart. What could I say? So, you know, I'm stressed out.
This is for all the marbles.
Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday, you know, I'm just stressed to the bone. So they go home, you know, we're done, we're good. I got to email them the things that we have to fix. Not a problem. We'll have that done in the next 2 days. And everything's good. Thursday night, I go home and it's like, I'm hungry.
That's right.
I don't think I've eaten in 2.5 days. I'm hungry now. So I was like, okay, so we did that. And then I have to wake up first thing Friday morning and go shoot the California State Championship.
California State Champions. Congratulations, guys, if I may already.
Well, you know what? Speaking of champs, let's get to Richard at the airport. Richard, how are you?
Smoothest segue ever.
Good evening, you magnificent 7 gunslingers.
Hey,
kindly.
now.
What's going on, Richard?
I want to know why on the 38 Special, why does it have that floating fire pin?
A floating firing pin?
Right.
Well, not all of them.
Wiggles around.
Yeah, not all of them do, and it was kind of a, I want to say 60s safety feature. What a floating firing pin is in the frame itself, there's a firing pin. In the old days, it would be on a hammer.
On the hammer, so it would rest directly on
A primer, yeah. Which, so if you know, like an old cowboy, you got a 6-shooter in your holster, and your horse hits a good bump, and that firing pin hits that primer. Well, now you've killed your leg and your horse.
Insider trading, most cowboys, if you carried a firearm back in the day, you carried 5.
5, yeah, absolutely.
So that's the fixed firing pin. Anyway.
Yeah, so they did this as a safety device, and what it is it just kind of free floats in there, and when the hammer comes down and hits it, that sends it forward into the primer, and that makes it go boom. So that's all that is. But very few, I can't think of anybody off the top that's still in the business. That's
these days.
It's not a single action.
I want to say like RG did that for a bit. You know,
that was a fine.
Yeah, because RG stood for Rotten Gun. Actually, Rome, Germany, but that's anyway. Richard, got a joke for us?
Okay, yeah, you know, Mother's Day is coming up, and I'm expecting a lot of gifts because so many people have come up to me and said, "You mother."
Hey, Richard, one thing real fast. Say hi to Mary. I saw her at the conservative convention this week. She touted about all the guys over at Whiteman Airport and all that, and she took a nice little picture with me, and she said that she was going to be talking to you guys soon. So. Just I don't know if it rings a bell for Mary, but she's listening.
If I see her, I'll tell her. Well, and did you know that as I'm driving around lately, so many people reach out of their window and they tell me I'm number 1.
You're the best, Richard. You're the best.
And they call you a mother too.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because a lot of people do that to me too.
Hey,
Right.
Join the crew. We got jackets.
There you go. We'll talk to you next week.
See you next week.
Take care. Bye-bye. All right, no Rick this week because there wasn't anything to talk about. And I talked to him on the way in, and he was exhausted, and so.
Well, we got plenty to talk about.
Yeah, we're going to get into the California State Championship, the good, the bad. Really wasn't any bad.
Hey, I love to hear it.
Yeah, so mostly good, and some congratulatory stuff.
Some pats on backs.
Yeah, pats on backs. Well, you're listening to Gunslingers right here on
the Gunslinger Syndicated Radio Network,
and we'll be back right after this. For that blue jean, baby queen, prettiest girl I ever seen. See her shake on the movie screen. Jimmy D. James Dean.
Gideon versus Holison sites.
Do what now?
Gideon versus and Holison sites. And
the Holisons, those are bitchin'.
Those are really good.
Yeah, it's a red dot type site that actually goes off of the sun. It's like a little It's got a
little solar panel on it.
Yeah, right on the top of it. I've got a couple of those. I'm not a red dot guy, but I like those. The Sig Romeo is another one I like a lot. Being sitting on this gun right here.
I was going to say, that's a fun conversation. How long did it take you to get used to the red dot versus the...
I'm still not, and that's why I like. Again, GunslingerAuctions.com.
Well, my daddy left home when I was 3, and he didn't leave much to ma on me. Just an old guitar and an empty bottle of booze. Now, I don't blame him because he run and hid, but the meanest thing that he ever did was before he left, he went and named me Sue.
Welcome back, everybody, to Gunslingers right here on
the Gunslinger Syndicated Radio Network.
All right, and you know what? This is a live show, like we mentioned. That means that we take phone calls. Yes, you got questions about guns, upcoming auctions, how you do your paperwork. You know, you didn't get passed through your paperwork. You got questions about firearms, anything in general. Give us a call. What's that number, John?
You're going to want to call in at 866-870-5752. Once again, that's 866-870-5752. Or if you are at any of the competitions that...
I was just going to say, anybody that was out shooting with us this weekend, give us a call and tell us what you thought. Yeah, you
How'd
bet.
you do? Or at the Conservative Summit?
At the Conservative Summit, the IE Conservative Summit. If you were there, you saw your boy there, or if you saw anything that really brought your eye about California and where we'll be moving, come and call in 866-870-5752.
Yeah, because Mark and I were both competing, but you got to go to the IE Summit.
Yeah, got to see a lot of great people. Larry Elder was out there. Ms. Riley Gaines had a nice opening. She kind of opened up the whole thing, had a nice speech. She was on a panel with them.
There you are. See, now if you're on the internet, you get to see Jimmy with her.
Yep, a nice little picture with her. Got a little photo op there. Our friend and hopefully future governor, Chad Bianco, is there. There he is. A nice picture of him up there. Lots of great things happen. We'll go through. I'll sprinkle a little bit here and there, but a great showing from everyone in the Inland Empire. I know you gentlemen were busy doing your thing, but we had representation for the Gunslingers out there, and we got to talk to a lot of great people, had a lot of great fans who know about the show, and
you had an easy drive.
Oh my goodness, this was the best. 20 minutes to
and that's
Ontario.
The one you missed.
Yeah, right.
So it was really great, and thank you for everyone who showed up and showed support for California, for conservatives, for the saving of strength and sanity in the state. That's what's going on here, folks.
Yeah, well, my day yesterday, I was out the door at 7:30 to get to the match. I shot the match. Then I jumped into my truck, drove all the way down to Orange because it's payday. Yeah, I had to go. Got to pay everybody. Yeah. Just because I'm doing something doesn't mean they don't get paid. So I had to get down there, get everybody paid. I stayed till about 3:30. Then I came home. Then I had to make ammo because I was thinking, the shoot-offs in case I got
and you did.
Yeah, I did. So I had to make some ammo. Then I had three. The dinner for the match was last night.
And you were there.
And Ron and Renee's party I was going to go to, and Norco had her big poker tournament last night. So I had three places to be, and this is typical for me. That's why I need three of me. Eeny, meeny, miny. I got to go support the Cowboys. So
that was very good of you.
Yeah. Well, I knew that the poker thing would be huge, and I knew that the Ron and Renee's party would be huge, and nobody's going to miss me there. So I just went ahead and went to the match, and we had a good dinner. The match itself, coming home from end of trail, which is the Cowboy World Championship, and just being so disappointed in the match and a bunch of other things.
Dejected.
This was 180 degree different. I enjoyed the match. I actually posted a video of me on Facebook yesterday where I'm laughing at the end of a stage.
It was so cool to see a nice big smile after a finished stage on your face. That was really nice.
I was really happy that they did a really good job. This is their third year, and each year has got progressively better.
Unquestionably.
Yeah, so I was real happy for them and for me because I've been talking pretty seriously about hanging him up, at least for a while. And I haven't quite come back yet, but this was a big step in the right direction for me.
It's interesting you say that. When you have a good match, and this is a lesson to match directors everywhere, sometimes you'll hate this phrase, this will slow down the fast guys.
Oh, I know.
Right? And all you do is you punish the fast guys are going to win.
No matter
They're good.
what.
They train, they practice. All you do is you punish everybody from the fast guys down, even worse. And how is the attitude, how is the vibe on the range, especially for a multi-day match, if you're just being, beaten with a stick every time you walk up to a stage entrance?
Punished just for competing.
Yeah. And in this case, everybody was in high spirits. Win, lose, or draw, everybody was in high spirits.
Love to hear it.
And it really makes for a much cheerier environment when you've got a good, fun match. So props.
So I do have a question. So what do you think the difference between the staging of the stages was different from the last few competitions you've been to? What made the difference between how they were set up and how well you did?
Well, the targets were a little...
Target distances.
Yeah, target distances were a little bit easier on us. Now, you know me, I shoot pistol at 50 yards pretty commonly, so this part doesn't affect me. But because of that, what Mark is saying, guys that don't get to shoot all the time and shoot at long distance, for them to go to end a trail and shoot to pistols out at a much greater distance than we're used to, it's difficult. A 75-year-old man out there who's having a hard time. I've shot with people out there who literally the wife had to help the husband get from point A to point B by taking his arm and walking him. So,
and then you put a small target out at a great distance with a complex shooting order because each stage is different.
And oddly, none of those people come into the top 10. It's always the same folks. So, like Mark says, they're really only punishing the guys that don't get to shoot as much.
Kind of sucking the fun out of the all about everyone being able to do this.
And, bad moods are contagious. And when one person's not having a good one, now the next guy in his group is not having a good one. Now you got 4 or 5 people that are not happy. And now you got a whole group.
You got a surly posse.
Yeah, you got an 18-person posse, and they're upset. And now it spreads over. It's like wildfire. And now the whole place is upset. And everybody's, not understanding why. They just know that this is BS.
And then you
I almost said the whole thing.
You wake up the following morning, and instead of going, "Hey man, I can't wait to get cowboyed up," it's like, let's face it, at its root, this is a really fun sport. You get to dress up like a 12-year-old, but the guns are real, right? But now you're waking up going, "Oh, do I have to do this again?"
Yeah,
the oncoming
Who wants
dread.
to be there?
Or oh man, that stage is today. Oh god. Yeah.
Right?
And they have done this ever since the days of Winter Range. They have that one stage with a bunch of knockdowns, and they don't know how to deal with them. So
this is EOT that he's talking about.
This
now,
is
not to dish you guys, but
and so here's how you deal with it, guys. You ready? This is going to be mind-boggling. Get rid of them.
If you can't be sure, it's going to be the same.
They have tried every kind of different thing to do, and none of them work. So you know what? If it don't work, don't do it.
And especially in a competition like this, consistency is key. You can't have it good for one and not for the other, and that's throwing everyone off down the line.
Yeah, but again, like Mark said, I kind of veered off. But back to the California State match. I had no complaint about anything, and let me tell you, the Gunslingers did pretty well.
Hey now.
Yeah. Mark won his class. I won my class. John and Annie won their class.
Look at that.
I mean, there's 4 of us right there.
The whole family
on our faces.
Love it.
And so I guess the Mark, I can never remember the Mark Twain quote. The tale of my demise was a little
greatly
premature.
exaggerated.
Yeah. So maybe I'm not quite as dead as everybody.
Well, Johnny Ringo says it was the EOT PTSD recovery match.
Hey.
Bingo, exactly. Yeah, and that's exactly right. Everybody was kind of shell shocked coming. I left after a day and a half at End of Trail. I just said I can get treated poorly at home. I don't need to drive all the way to Arizona for this.
It was nice to have a good time at a match. You're paying to be here. It's nice to have fun.
And then that's the thing about these matches is that, again, you come for the competition, you stay for the camaraderie, but having the competitions to go smoothly and be enjoyable is got to be a super plus on your day. So that's wonderful to hear that. And hopefully, I have more questions after because I you know what? If we're not going to get calls, I'm going to get as much as I can in here. So
we got a lot of stories to tell.
Absolutely.
Speaking of calls, though,
what's the number, Jimmy?
866-870-5752. Call in now. 866-870-5752.
You're listening to Gunslingers right here on
the Gunslinger Syndicated Radio Network.
And we'll be back in just a minute.
Coffee says, greetings from the free state of Texas. Love your new tribute song.
Thank you. Thank you.
Doug Kasai said, bad shooter's virus. I think he's speaking about from EOT to...
And you spoke it. Burton Cummings, what a voice.
Man.
Oh, man.
If you're misled or lied to in any way when buying a timeshare, right now is your wake-up call. With the tariffs, economy tanking, and inflation rising, you might need to ask yourself this question. Is owning a timeshare a good idea? With all the economic uncertainty you need to protect yourself and your family, don't look back and say, if I'd have only got rid of that stupid timeshare they lied to me about. It's time to stop thinking about canceling your timeshare and finally get rid of it and be smart with your money. At Wesley Financial Group, we've saved 48,000 families an average of $65,000 in lifetime payments.
We are.
Give us a call. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare permanently or you'll pay nothing.
Call Wesley for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-979-1441.
I'm texting Kevin.
800-979-1441. 800-979-1441.
Larry over here. Do not miss my new movie called Electric Vehicles, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Are EVs real?
The bad, the worse, and the what the fuck.
Did you follow what happened to Spain and Portugal last week? I know you were a little bit busy.
Yeah.
Power went out in 2 countries.
2 countries.
Right after they have shifted to entirely renewable energy.
Come on.
That's how renewable it was. It went down, and I mean, nothing worked.
So what they do, go over to Japan and bring a bunch of Honda
Gas-powered generators over.
They started bringing out their bikes and just peddling electricity into the homes.
Just thumping their chests.
I heard earlier, and I checked everything in there. There's nothing out there.
It sounds like during our second segment, it faded.
Well, not in mine.
Okay. Maybe I just got used to it.
Well, somebody had mentioned it on the feed. Ungrounded mic line.
I'm not hearing the
Larry
buzz.
shift.
No? Hang on. Yeah, no, I'm not hearing it either.
Kevin, you did it again.
I tell you, it just, you came in and you scared the buzz right out of here.
It'll come back now that I leave.
You know what? You're a buzzkill.
Well played. I think we have pun of the day.
All right, let me know if it comes back. I checked everything in there. That's what I was in the process of doing. I heard you the first time when you said there was a buzz.
Okay. Oh, allergies coming and going. Feels like I got sandpaper in my eyeballs.
You're gonna have to wipe the rust off your guns too, if you're.
Oh, I know. Right after yesterday, yeah.
Bless Italian bluing.
Yeah.
That stuff.
Not exactly high end. Oh, what's the matter, Blue? Hey, you gotta no respect. What do you think you do, and what do you look so sad? It's a not so bad. It's a nicer place. Oh, shut up your face.
That sounds like Thanksgiving at our house.
With us, it was always Tony Bennett.
How about Frankie? Well, Alberto Frankie? What was his name? Marie? No, come on. Oh, it'll come to me.
I know who you're talking about, but I'm so tired I can't.
Exactly right in the same place.
AM870theanswer.com.
everybody, a little Four Tops and Levi Stubbs.
Come on.
Man, best song ever.
Honestly, what part of that isn't just great? The intro?
No matter what you're doing, that'll put you in a better mood.
And it defies any genre you try to put it in. So it's just one of those classic timeless songs.
It really is. Anyway, okay, so we're talking about the California State Championship. We've got auction stuff coming up. Everybody's bugging me on when is the catalog. Well, we don't put it up until a month prior. Now, the auction is the 7th and 8th. Today is the 4th, so we've got at least 3 more days. We'll have it up at the end of the week.
Yeah,
we're going to be a couple of days later than normal, but
because of the ATF.
Because that happened, and
how huge it is. Come on, guys, there's going to be over 1,200 guns in this next auction.
I mean, it's kind of a lot, and at least for us, this is our first time doing a 2-dayer. We're working on a bunch of other stuff. Ben's, in there with his little, but Professor, he's got the magic bag. So he's working on doing some other stuff. We're going to have a little thing on the website that you're going to be able to bid and not go on proxy bid. So he's working.
That's huge.
Yeah, we've got a lot of things in the cooker. So. Just be patient. We'll get it out and we'll get it going. And he's also working on the flyer, which will probably go out in the next couple days or so. Hopefully it gets out in time for the auction. It happens. What are you going to do? 3 days after the auction, your flyer shows up. Oh,
hey,
look what we missed.
I'm so glad I have all this paper.
Yeah. Anyway.
And just remember, it is a 2-day, folks. So we're splitting it up in 2 days. It's going to be all on one catalog still, but you're going to be able to see 2 whole separate days of gun auction. This is going to be huge. And again, we deal with all of it. There's going to be... What do you think on in the first catalog? What are going to be some of the highlights?
Well, if you're into military surplus, you better be there for both days, because I can't tell you. We've got everything from real Winchester 97 trench guns to Remington 03A4s to Garand's K98s, Lugers, P38. Mauser P38s. I mean, Mausers from every country, including some I don't think are even countries anymore.
That's what happens when you lose. And don't you have? Didn't you say something about having a Ross complete with
bayonet, frog, and scabbard?
Something I've never seen.
Yeah.
Never in person.
Yeah.
And it's not just that you have the auction, but it actually is an event. The whole thing is an event.
It really
in fact,
is.
it's held at
the Highway 39 Event Center on State College Boulevard Avenue. I don't know.
State College. Yeah. I think it's Boulevard.
So if your attention should wander for a few moments, there's plenty to look at.
You can get up and walk around. Just don't get near them, because they've got an awful. I went around and counted them, and I think if I had 7 more, I'd have as many as what's in.
Yeah, but they're all
gauntlets thrown down, sir.
Imagine this, folks. You're going to be bidding on guns in a place that is just jam-packed with jaw-dropping, eye-bulging, just classic cars and trucks and motorcycles and mopeds.
No, wait. Didn't you say that this being an event, this could take all day, both days, right?
No.
Won't you need food or something?
Oh, they have food there. They're going to do breakfast, so if you want to get there at 9 o'clock, you can come in, have bacon and eggs. Come on! And they're going to have a menu for us for the lunchtime. It's quite a deal, guys. So come on out, check it out.
And just in case, because we are going to be running pretty long, they do have a bar as well, folks.
They do have a bar.
Don't be afraid to patronize them with your patronage.
Yep, because there's nothing better than a drunk bidder.
Yeah, baby.
Except 2.
Hey, if we get a whole room full of them, that thing will go on all day.
Well, there is that.
Getting the positive reports on the location and the event online here.
So. It really is. And if you're familiar with what they call Tile Row in Orange County in Anaheim, actually, it's a whole bunch of tile stores, open to the public, but wholesale tile, and it's right in the middle of that. So
I think Tile Row is also the name of a Star Wars villain, isn't it?
Tile Row. Hello, Tile Row. And then
it's the fourth. Come on.
It is fourth. And so if anyone, and especially how easy it is to get off of the freeway and get right there. It's right off the 57. I think you just exit Catella, and it's like the first light if you're going southbound, you just take the next light right, and then you're right down the street.
Yeah, you go half a mile, and it's a itty bitty little street, and it's right there.
So convenient.
There's a picture of it. There's a picture of their
right. Oh, yeah.
That's a 56 Ford. Got one. That's us on stage.
Yeah, even one of their
that's me yelling at somebody, I'm sure.
One of their they have a converted truck bed that is turned into like an apple cart type of deal. Like it looks like it could drag behind someone's car, but it's totally tricked out and beautiful.
Well, and stashed in the corner, there's a 1930s Divco truck, which is actually what the original Helms trucks were. This one's painted all black, so I
think it's gray. Actually,
is it gray?
I think it's gray.
Well, it's not painted Helms, and so somebody's got to fix that. Hey, let's get to Joe in Hawthorne. What can we do for you, sir?
Evening, Joe. What's going on?
Hello, Joe.
Hello, Joe.
What do you know?
I got a question.
There you go.
Have you heard about the Menta MX1 pistol chassis for Glocks?
Menta.
I have not.
I will find out, though.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if it's illegal in California.
I would bet not.
That is, as cool as it may look, that's going to be a big no. It's a.
Oh, yeah, okay. They've tinkered with this for years. It's turning a Glock pistol into a carbine. Yeah, and they have had many versions of this over the years. They had one that would clip right onto the top of a lower and turn it into a short carbine. They all work pretty well, but you can't have them in California.
They're not well received by the state administration.
Yeah.
Sorry, man.
It's almost about how they try to. Go ahead.
Yeah, it does have a folding stock on it, so I was wondering, because on the internet, you can't get any decent information on it.
Yeah, I have.
That's why we exist.
Yeah, I haven't seen one in person. I have seen the other ones, and the biggest knock on those was always once you got it on, you couldn't get the damn thing off.
Because they kind of it was kind of in that gray area of arm braces, how they were kind of classifying the braces that they were doing and those. And so they kind of did away with all of it, and it kind of, I hate to use the term, handicapped a lot of people, but for the people that are disabled, it did put them at an even further disadvantage not being able to use something like that. So.
Yeah, well,
the California folding stock.
Yeah, well, a pistol grip and all that stuff.
It's got all the stuff that's been specifically banned by the state legislature.
Yep.
So sorry, man.
Okay, well, that answers that question. So.
Okay, very good.
Thanks, guys.
You bet. Take care now.
We want to keep you on the right side of the law.
And that opens up lines. Guys, where are you?
Come on.
Sleeping early in or what's going on? What's the number, Jimmy?
Call in 866-870-5752. Once again, 866-870-5752. I know we're doing a lot of talking. We're going a lot of back and forth. Maybe you don't want to interrupt us, but please interrupt us.
Yeah, absolutely. Give us a call. In the meantime, a couple of things coming up. Of course, the week after Father's Day, we'll have Leon the Motorman in. We'll do another Motorslinger show. June 7th and 8th is our next auctions.
Gosh darn. I mean, and after that, we're in September, right? That's our
we take the summer off because everybody's too busy in the summer, so auctions don't do well. I tried it once, and it was a flop and a half. Everybody's out on vacation, or everybody's worried having to run their AC, and they can't afford
it, right? So. We're trying to keep everyone in mind.
Yeah, so we won't do anything. I think it's the second Saturday in September is the next after these two. So
yeah, that was especially because you're going to be out and about. We have a toll 2 days, so that should hold you over for a couple of months, folks. But then once again, you only have, so that's June, July, August. So the next catalog will be out in August, so you don't have to really wait that long, folks.
Yeah,
these are kind of the same periods between them, but we're just giving you a little time to enjoy the sun and
there you go.
Give us a bit.
Go to the beach and do something. I don't know. But anyway, so back to the California State Championship.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, Mark won his class. John and Annie from the shop, they both won their classes. I won my class. We had a lot of newbies that I didn't recognize.
We had a bunch on our posse, a great bunch from up in the Bay Area.
Mm-hmm.
Just what a fun freaking bunch. The girl, Maria Machetes, won her category.
Yeah.
And as a new shooter, she was having a great day. They're a great bunch of guys and gals. Fun to have them. It's good to see new shooters and youngest shooters.
They mentioned somebody, I can't remember her name now, drove all the way out from New York.
Patsy Montana. I want to throw that name out there because
now.
apparently she wants to do all the state matches.
Oh, no kidding.
And first of all, God love you. Let us know. Call in and tell us how that's going. But all the way out from New York.
Look at that.
That is a drive.
She got a good match in for it, too. And I want to say she won her category, too.
Yeah, that's right.
Look at that. Have gun will travel, huh?
Yeah.
That's literally.
And last night, we had dinner, and, Mark and I being musicians, we both played a million weddings and banquets and everything you can imagine. And we've had every kind of prepared dinner you can imagine.
Limp asparagus, rubber chicken.
And where you just fill up on the rolls because the rest of it's going to be,
virtually
horrifying.
inedible.
Yeah. So the dinner actually was very good. Those mashed potatoes. Oh man, were those killer?
Mashed potatoes.
Yes, with garlic, cheesy mashed potatoes.
Woo wee!
Man, that is so my jam.
That combination of words just roll into the tongue.
Yeah, it was really good. And the dirty rotten SOBs had big old chocolate chip cookies too.
They got you.
I had 3 or 4.
So from top to bottom, beginning to end, and everything in between, this was a great competition.
Yeah, had a good time.
It's a visual. It's a visual. I know you got one of these too, but
yeah. Quick before we go to break.
How about that?
Look at that.
Zoom.
There you go.
Buckle up, baby.
Yep. All right, you're listening to Gunslingers right here on
the Gunslinger Syndicated Radio Network.
And we'll be back in just a minute.
Yes, sir. Most of the show, I was hearing that buzzing, and then at the end of the segment, the buzzing left. It was during when we were on. It was on. I don't know.
I don't either, but yeah.
Sounds like a fan, like a high-pitched fan going.
Hey, that's my Helms truck. That's my Helms truck.
Yes, it is.
I had this kind of crazy buddy in high school that had the old Divco, old Helms truck with a steering wheel in the middle. Yeah. He had one of those things. We went to drive-in movies a couple of times. It was pretty fun. Top speed was about 36 miles an hour.
Yeah. Yeah, that had that little 4-banger. I think it's like a 36 horse.
And acceleration is far too strong a word for how it gathered momentum.
Everybody, that's GunslingerAuctions.com.
Henry the Eighth I am, Henry the Eighth I am. I got married to the widow next door. She's been married 7 times before, and everyone was an Henry. Wouldn't have a Willie or a Sam. I'm an 8th old man, I'm Henry. Henry the Eighth I am.
For those
Second verse,
same as the first. That's some great songwriting.
Welcome back.
For those of you who are not alive at that period of time, that's what pop music sounded like back in the 60s.
1964, you bet. All right, let's get to Ed in Pahrump, Nevada. Ed, what can we do for you, sir?
Well, I have a bracelet that someone made. They took a gold ingot and hammered it around a bracelet mandrel, a 1-ounce 24-karat gold ingot. Do you ever take stuff like that?
Oh, sure, all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do a lot of we do jewelry, we do
art.
Somebody was talking to me the other day about a classic car.
Oh, yeah.
So we're
why not?
Yeah. So
great. Yeah, well, you have to get that Van Patten guy back. Not only does he know guns, he knows aircraft and cars as well. That's
Leon the Motorman. Yeah, he'll be back in the week after Father's Day.
Yeah, but I meant the guy from the Pawn Stars, the Von
the Beard of Knowledge, or what did I call him? The Beard of the Beard Man of Alcatraz.
You had him on. He's very knowledgeable. I mean, about aviation too. The era, like in the 30s, where people would fly up to Vegas from Southern California, and they had to go somewhere with their plane, and that's the direction they went to, and cars and that sort of thing. Unfortunately, a lot of the car museums they had in Nevada, they had the Harrah's Car Museum. I don't know if you ever got up to that in the Reno area, and then they had the Imperial Palace had a car museum on the parking garage that had all sorts of interesting cars, a Howard Hughes car and Duesenbergs and all sorts of weird cars. But anyway, I just thought I'd ask you about that. Have you gotten any fire-damaged firearms by any chance?
I have not yet, but we have had a few phone calls from people looking to replace stuff that they lost. So we've had some of that, but yeah, the fire. I don't know what we could do with fire damage.
Boy, I understand. LA started releasing them now.
It probably
heartbreaking.
I mean, unless they're super collectible, I don't know. It's probably
some of them will have been
better just to scrap them or something. Well, we're promoting up here, and we're essentially a suburb of Southern California, Vegas. I mean, let's face it. I mean, it's all run together.
Kind of, sort of.
Phoenix, Vegas.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks a lot.
Hey, you bet.
I'll check you out.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
We'll talk to you later.
Thanks, Ed.
All right. That opens up another line at 1-800-870-5752. Jimmy's in there trying
866-870-5752.
There you go. We still got to get Leon to do that. There you go. Anyway, so what did you think, Mark?
Of the match in general?
Yeah, the match in general.
Good times all around. It was the reverse. Last year, you remember, on Friday. First of all, you got to give a shout out to the poor match directors. This is May in Southern California. You should be able to pencil in 78 degrees,
easily,
blue skies, green hills and stuff. Well, Friday was absolutely terrific. Shooting weather, very, very, very pleasant. And as we were leaving the range, it started clouding up a little bit. And we showed up on Saturday, and it was a little bit overcasty and a little bit cooler. The sun never really came out. But again, I know all those of you in the Midwest are shedding bitter tears at the fact that for us it was 59 degrees.
And that's one of the questions I was going to ask you. How much does the weather depend on it? Shooting in Southern California, you really can't complain too often. But comparatively between, say, it was a little moist, between the moist and the dry and the heat, what would you prefer to shoot in?
That's a really good question. Today, in the Top Gun shoot-off, it started. It never really rained, but moisture was coming down. It was like you were in a cloud,
like a heavy cloud kind of drizzle.
Yeah. And when you're reaching for shot shells and you're trying to pull them out, your hands are slippery. Your hands are a little bit cold. You pick up a gun, it doesn't fit. It doesn't go cleanly into your grip when you fire it. It recoils a little bit more. It comes up more than you're expecting to. Weather definitely can play a hand in all
between
of
the
this.
two, I would go with the warmer because you can always take stuff off.
Yes.
You don't, on the norm, touch your barrels per se, so you don't have to worry too much about that. I know you do, but not as bad as...
absolutely.
Because, man, when it's cold, it's just miserable and it's hard to move. And
your fingers are stiff and clunky, and that fine motor control suffers.
Everything feels a little harder and a little more catchy.
And oddly enough, recoil hurts a little bit more when it's cold than when it's warm. So,
like getting hit by a baseball on a cold day. Those are the ones that really, really sting.
Yeah.
That said, if it gets hot enough, of course, this was, again, and it's very important to emphasize what a good match this was. There were a couple of things that I personally had never shot before, but they were so straightforward that it just wasn't a problem. And when it gets hot, and you start getting dehydrated. Remember, you can be out there at the range for 3, 4, 5, sometimes as long as 6 hours. And if it's hot enough, you start suffering from a little bit of dehydration. And there's a point at which just drinking water doesn't do it. You got to replace your electrolytes and stuff like that. Now, we weren't anywhere close to that this time, but we've been in a couple of matches like that, and your attention starts to wander, and you start glazing over a little bit. Each presents its own challenge.
Okay. Yeah.
But in this case, we're reenacting the cowboy world, and as the rain, the not quite rain, was getting thicker and thicker and thicker, and the Top Gun shoot-off, which, by the way, we were both in briefly. But as that was taking place, I was thinking, I wonder if they're going to have, at the end of the Top Gun shoot-off, typically, they will have the top man shoot off against the top woman. And it was wet enough, it was moist enough that you might have been running for the tents. And then I thought, you know what? There's no way they're going to. This is cowboy world. And by God, they both soldiered up. And Leadfinger and Rebecca West did the shoot-off. The rain was pretty much, it was starting to stream a little bit, and they both went up and they both did it, because this is cowboy world, right?
Yeah.
Cowboy up.
That's it. So there you go.
Yeah, because I know that we have listeners from different competition areas. We have Brian on there who does the speed. And I know there's other guys.
Cowboy Fast Draw.
Yeah, Cowboy Fast Draw. And we have listeners that do more modern type of shooting competitions and all that. I want to see what kind of, if you guys are listening, I want to know what's the difference between whether, say, I have a buddy, Gabe Rivera, who does a lot of modern stuff with kind of run and guns kind of stuff and situational. And I can understand that he gets to be a little more lightweight. He's wearing shorts and he got a ball cap on, but say the weather, how it affects him there. So if you guys are shooting in different kind of platform and different type of situations, what do you see the difference in how weather is? Like, you guys aren't really running in the sand or anything, and I see that some people have to do in there. Justine, she does a lot of, especially with the carbines, she does a lot of running and all that, and having to do that type of physical activity in weather. How does it affect a lot of people?
I'll tell you what, there is a difference. I love to shoot wild bunch, and on a cold day, I'm always hoping we'll be shooting wild bunch first. And the reason is because when you're using semi-automatic firearms, I'm not saying their life is so much easier than ours, but the gun is doing most of the work for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whereas with the cowboy firearms, you have to manipulate the firearm for every single shot, every single time, including loading the shotgun off your body. So I think the weather does play a far bigger role in our particular competition that does for theirs. I want to give a shout out to Scarlet Rain, who we're talking about. Does it affect? On the fort, one of the bays, you put down your pistols when you were done, and you're doing this at a high rate of speed. And that little tiny window on Fort Johnson, and it was doing that misty, cloudy thing, and that was a little bit slippery on the carpet. And she put down her gun and took her hand off, and the gun did not stop.
Sliding away. Huh?
We had a few of those.
Yep.
Yeah, we had a few of those. And unfortunately, that is either a match or at least
It's
a stage
EQ
disqualification. Yeah, so that's always a bummer.
And that's a huge thing for you guys too, especially because you guys have to your procedure of having to actually place down the firearms in your certain areas and all that. That's a whole nother step that a lot of other firing disciplines don't have to really deal with. They either can reholster it or just go on to the next. And you guys are dealing with multi-guns, so that's another huge aspect of the cowboy shot and all that. So it's very interesting how dynamic you have to be in what you guys do.
Well, and the fact that when you're shooting like IPSC or IDPA, you've got a magazine full, and if you miss, you can keep going until you hit it. We don't have that. No. You only have 5 rounds.
You shoot as many shots as they tell you to shoot. You don't get any extras.
No extras, no extra loading, no carrying ammo with you. It just is what it is, and if you don't get them out, that's what happened to me today in the Top Gun shoot-off. I was actually winning, and I had 2 rounds because you had to reload one round.
There were 2.
Yeah, and as I was going with a rifle, I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, and then I kicked out a live one,
which can happen on a cold day.
Yeah, and so I had to reload 2, and the 2 that I had became 1.
Magic!
Oh, doggone it! So I loaded 1, and I finished, and I turned around to the crowd. I said, "I'm out of ammo. What do you want from me?"
And I'll say it one more time. When I do tactical training, what do I say the loudest sound in a gunfight is?
Click.
You got to experience that delightful moment.
Sir.
And just to kind of run
Wait
past
next
that,
year.
on multiple disciplines, it was Holy Smoker that we had on, right?
Holy Terror.
Holy Terror. There
Holy
we go.
Smoker made dinner.
Holy Terror, she does multiple disciplines outside of cowboy action. So this would be a good thing to kind of pass her away next time we get her on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful.
You know what? This is a live show, and we're not getting phone calls. What's the number, Jimmy?
You guys want to call in. Make sure you're hitting all the buttons right. Maybe you're misdialing. It's going to be 866-870-5752. Once again, 866-870-5752.
All right. We do have Rick from Redondo Beach. We'll get to you as soon as we get back from the break. You're listening to Gunslingers right here on
the Gunslinger Syndicated Radio Network.
And we'll be back in a minute or two.
Come on back.
Turn down the lights.
I did a songwriters and ASCAP songwriters clinic with Don Was a number of years ago, and he was one of the producers on this album. And he says they took it and they took it and they took it, and they could not get the magic of the rehearsal. That's what that one is.
Wow. That was a Bruce Hornsby song.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I do have a question from online. Maybe we'll address it when we get back on. Glock sales. Because of all the stuff that's going on about Glock stuff, have you seen an uptick?
Oh, the tariffs.
Yeah. No, nothing to write home about.
Felt like I was talking a mile a minute this last segment. I felt like I was just hey.
It's sold American.
The worst thing you have to do, are Glocks affected by it? Because remember, the ones we get in California, at least, are the ones that, God bless California, are the ones that are made in a foreign country, so American workers aren't making them. Yay, good plan.
It's like we'll be the only ones affected by the tariff if it does come into play, which means an additional tax on top of our additional tax on top of our tax.
I don't know. Something tells me that Austria and the United States are not really.
There's not a lot of trade heat
It's
going
probably
on
like
between them.
Trump went, hey, and they go, okay. We're good.
I'll tell you what,
Cool.
they're freaking they're conditories, they're little coffee shops, and those little Napoleon pastries. Do not go to war with Austria. I do not want to lose access to their pastries. It's too high a price to pay. Fold. We will fold like cheap plaster. I haven't been to Austria in years. I got to go back.
I haven't been to Austria ever.
Me neither.
Wonderful country and very, very beautiful.
That's right here.
Very beautiful. And very nice people, lovely people.
Edelweiss.
Edelweiss, every morning you greet me. You gotta love a country who's so turned their back on war that they're talking about little mountain flowers. There's not a cannon anywhere in that song. And there are not a lot of other nations that can say that.
I'm not gonna
Rule Britannia, Britannia rule the... I mean, come on.
I do love that song, though.
Off a rally fueled by a robust April employment report.
The creation of 177,000 jobs last month, with the unemployment rate holding at 4.2%. Top analysts.
Oh, thanks, Melissa. Melissa put, you guys are just too entertaining. We're all just listening, not calling in. Sweet, 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 sweet Melissa.
We get a couple of calls now.
Best firearms in the world made in Austria. Ooh, this may come as a shock to the English firearms building industry, but...
It's weird that it's only when we're on air.
Kirk says, hot brass in a bra will get your attention. That is based on which experience, Kirk? Now, I've got a couple down, you know that you're wearing the scoop neck top ladies I'm talking about, but I've had one or two get under a t-shirt or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And that you got that, the first warning is that smell of hamburger, and you go, what is that? Oh, that's me.
Hey, dude. Quick. Oh, yeah. Jimmy's just ran out the door. And Jeffrey was watching for a second.
Aw.
He came to the awards ceremony this morning to see his pop get his thing. Couldn't give a shit. He just wanted to get back to the house.
I thought that was kind of cool that he was there.
Mhm.
It was nice to see Kathy there as well.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, and look at it. We have a caller, Brian from Chino, and it just said weather. It's like, is that what we've become now? The weatherman?
Well, we can use another Twainism. Everyone complains about the weather, but nobody does anything about it.
It's not even on the break. It's only when we're live.
Listen to us complaining about the weather. Oh my God, it's cloudy.
I know, right?
All right. People with golf ball-sized hailstones destroying their cars and homes and crops. People with tornadoes.
And we get an earthquake once in a great while.
Honest to God, there are things, as one considers retiring moving on, one considers where one might go. And even in the United States of America in the year 2025, we still have things like crocodiles to worry about. I don't want to have to worry about that. I don't want to be eaten by a bear.
No.
I don't want to have to watch my life's possessions go whirled away in a
Swept
tornado.
up in a tornado, I know. Yeah. We got to put up with bad traffic and an earthquake once in a great while. Well, and Democrats, so we have
Which is their
mental
own kind of-
disease, but
It's just a plague.
yeah.
Sweet Melissa. Melissa is the name of the song, Melissa. You gotta love that stuff. It's also the theme to Top Gear, which is one of my favorite car shows ever. What's the cost to compete, says Dave. That's a fair question. There are two ways to do it. One is cheaply. The other is let's do it all again because I tried to go cheaply.
Yeah.
Tune in weekday morning, 6 to 9 a.m. This is the Morning Answer. AM 870.
This should be us here.
Mistrust, division. It's not what we're moving towards.
They pulled in just behind a friend. She lays her down. He frowns. Gee, my life's a funny thing. Am I still too young? He kissed his diamond ring. She took his ring, took his babies, took him minutes, took her nowhere. Heaven knows she's a digger and a finger.
Welcome back, everybody, to Gunslingers right here on
The Gunslinger Syndicated Radio Network.
That's us. And
Wait,
again, go ahead.
I'm sorry, unless I missed my guess. Is this not our second Power Packed Hour?
There you go. Absolutely. And that means it's time for phone calls. Jimmy, what's that phone number?
You guys want to start calling in at our second Power Packed Hour at 866-870-5752. Once again, that's 866-870-5752.
All right, you want to know what you're going to buy your first gun? You want to know what you should get? You want to know what kind of questions you should ask? What kind of paperwork you need to be done? What do you need if you're going to bring a gun into auction? Give us a call. We can answer them all.
Or just speaking about competition, we had a nice question about fees about trying to get into one of these competitions.
Well, I think the overall match was $100 or something, $120.
165.
165? Oh, okay.
That did include the dinner.
Yeah, that included a very nice dinner.
And these are multi-days. It's not like you're just paying for one day. You're paying for a whole entire event.
So there is that. And then
You can't ski for 3 days for $165, and they don't feed you.
The old joke in Cowboy Action was your first $10,000 was buying your clothes and all your guns, and your next $10,000 was the deposit on your RV, so you could travel to other states to shoot. And that very, very, very true in the old days. I tell you, being 27 years in Cowboy Action, I have seen so. I was at the tail end of the old days, and then and I'm still going. So I've seen the transition from.
How the game has evolved.
Man, and quite a bit. And that was one thing I wanted to bring up. How cool was it, the side of the one building with
That is my favorite mural, maybe on planet Earth.
Yeah, there's dear friends of both Mark and mine, Candy Johnson and Opal Rose, and of course up on the top overlooking everything was Bojack
with that old grumpy
and
derby hat.
And then there's Rudy on the side. The only thing they need to do is there's one more window, and they got to put Smoke Parnell up there.
That would be lovely. But I couldn't help but notice on the side of one of the buildings there was another cowboy shooter. What was his name?
Me.
Hey, you got your own mural, buddy.
Yeah, me and my old boy Dozer. Remember Dozer?
Yeah, I remember Dozer, big old boy.
Oh man, our phones are blowing up. Okay, let's get to Rick in Redondo Beach. Rick, what can we do for you, sir?
Evening, Rick.
Hi there, guys. Congratulations, Jeff, on your good day yesterday.
Thank you, sir.
You had a lot of fun.
We did, and don't forget Mark too, and John and Annie.
That's right. Certainly can't forget your team.
That's
right. Make it all happen.
Yeah,
Team Gunslinger.
I've got two of the same gun, but they have different model designations, and that is a Stevens 22-410, and then I guess a few years later they renamed it the Model 24.
Yeah,
so that's a 22 on top and a 410 underneath.
Now, are you sure it's Stevens and not Savage?
Savage.
Yeah, usually those are Savages, and those started off as kind of kids' guns. We call them grandkids' guns. It's a little over and under, and it's got a 410 and a 22, and they went kind of hog wild with that. Believe it or not, the 24 is actually the barrel length. That's
all. That's all that changed.
Clever naming there.
Yeah, they just kind of went like, "What is it? It's a fly."
What's it doing?
Yeah, so they kind of just went real simple with the name, but that's why it's called the Model 24, and they've made them all the way up to 30-06 over a 12 gauge. So I mean, they really kind of they made that gun in many calibers. The 22, they made it in 222 Remington with a 20 gauge and
any combination you could imagine.
Right? Yeah, my favorite was the 410 22 mag. Now, I like that one a lot.
Good.
Yeah, that was and they're all good shooting guns, but it's a Savage firearm. I'm pretty
Savage.
sure.
I'm sorry. Yeah, exactly. I've got a little problem in that the little selector knob has a little screw in it, and one of those things fell out. And so if I want to use one of those guns, I take it out of there and I stick it in the other one.
Adapt, improvise, overcome.
Switcheroo.
Probably easily replaced.
Well,
but I haven't been able to find it like at the hardware store. It's not that simple, I guess.
Well, gun screws are not something you're ever going to find.
Weird thread pitches and lengths.
They're so fine. So here's what you do. Go to Numrich. It's NUMRICH. arms.com, and they're back in New York, and they've got a gargantuan catalog of I think you can find them on gunparts.com too, but that would be my first place to look and see if you can't find something there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Right. You got time for another question?
Go ahead.
I want to ask you about the Japanese Arasaka. I saw that in your last auction you had one that was called a Type I, and my father brought one back from serving in the Pacific when he was just like 18, and so it ticked around the garage and whatever, but it took me a whole long time to try to research down that it wasn't a Type 99, not a Type 38, but a Type I made in Italy, I guess.
Yeah. In the 20s, Japan was looking around. They're trying to conquer the East, and so they're looking around, and they went to the. How do you put this politely? The worst place in the world to try and buy a firearm. And they had, they didn't go to Beretta. They went to Turney, and these were later known as Carcanos. And they're, in most circles, the Craponos. It's just an absolute.
Wait. According to the Warren Commission, that is the straightest shooting, hardest hitting, fastest firing rifle. Anyway.
Well, at 75 yards, but anyway. They actually made a Type I for a time, and they have a little bit more of a bigger price on them than the standard 38 or 99. The 38s and 99s. There's an awful lot of them made it back, and these are the Japanese, and these things are huge. I mean, the average Japanese soldier was like 5'4", and these guns are like 6'2". And they shoot this really funky 7.7 and 6.5 calibers, and they're impossible rounds to find. So people found out that the Arisaka was one of the strongest.
It's a good action.
Yeah, actions ever. So many of them have been rebuilt into other things.
Rechambered.
Yeah, but if you find one that's still got the goofy
the
cover,
and the cover.
Yeah, and the mum or the chrysanthemum. This is on the crest, and that was Hirohito's official mark.
Yes.
So what we did was after he surrendered, with most of them, they would grind it off, and then they'd give them to the GIs to send home or to take home as souvenirs. So when you find one that's not been altered,
bargled up,
they have a more bigger price on them.
Yeah, when they still have the carnation in there, they're go for good.
A real quick story, because believe it or not, now we have no phone lines open. I had a Japanese news crew come into our store one day, and of course, I've got Arisakas on the wall, and I've got M1 Garands and carbines, and they haven't had guns in Japan since 1944. Yeah. So they're just they're walking around, their mouths are just wide open. Wow, Corinta Eastwood, and they're just having a great time looking around. And I showed them a Japanese Arisaka rifle, and they're trying to work the bolt and it doesn't want to go, and the dust cover's banging around. And then I showed him a Garand, and the guy, I'm not kidding, the guy goes, "No wonder we lost."
It all
but give him
makes
credit.
sense.
Give him credit for putting the anti-aircraft sights.
On
a bolt-action rifle.
Yeah, I mean that's delusions of grandeur.
You got a Corsair coming at you at 400 miles an hour.
Yeah, and you're going to shoot it down with a 7.7.
You just got to lead them a little bit.
There you go. About a half a block, give or take.
That's all we got.
Anyway, Rick, thanks for the call.
You got it. Thanks, guys.
Take care.
And Rick, just in case you're still listening, that we got people online. Our comment section is always out. They say Ace Hardware does carry some of those gun screws that you may be hard to find. Just in case Numeric is,
I'd be real leery about that.
What? I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah, I mean maybe like wood screws. Talking. I don't know. Gun screws are very fine threaded, and they are always some bizarre.
And it's going to be symmetric or Whitworth.
Or it's reverse threaded a lot of
number charms. Can't go wrong.
And I've stripped out enough to know.
Yes.
Oop, there we go. Another great song. All right. Hey, guess what, guys? We got a bunch of phone calls. We're going to get to those right after this. And you're listening to Gunslingers right here on
the Gunslinger Syndicated Radio Network.
And Three Tired Guys. We'll be back right after this.
Carry on, carry on.
You get two Burton Cummings in?
No, that was Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
That's right.
We got Brian in Chino, Farmer Tyson, Phoenix, Chris in L.A., Howard in West L.A., and Sean in Covina.
Ooh, I'll bet Ramon and Justice Ann are going to be on this one. Tomorrow is Netherlands Liberation Day from Germany. Thanks, Melissa.
Thanks, Melissa.
They still remember. We are well remembered there. The sacrifices of many heroes.
Here we go.
Come.
The day destroys the night. I'm not going to wait for it.
The day destroys the night.
We don't have enough time. Come on, let's run it.
Night divides the day. Try to run, try to hide. Break on through to the other side. Break on through to the other side. Break on through to the other side, yeah.
I did that for a living. Welcome back, everybody, to Gunslingers right here on
the Gunslinger Syndicated Radio Network.
And let's get right back into the phones. Brian in Chino. Brian, how are you? What can we do for you?
Hey, you guys were talking about the weather and how did it affect us.
Mm-hmm.
Well, over at Cowboy Fast Draw, you guys know that we use the wax bullets.
Oh, yeah.
And we have two distinct weather problems. One is when it's really cold, and one is when it's really hot.
Yeah.
So when it's really cold, the wax will freeze up in the shell, and it will slide out of the shell a little bit where you can't spin the revolver.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
That would suck.
And on the other side of it, when it's really hot, if you don't buy the correct wax, the primer will blow through the wax, and the bullet won't come out all the way. You'll just get little tiny speckles
globs
on the target.
Yeah, and a mess in your barrel.
Oh, man.
A little bit, too. But, you know, you guys are probably like us. I mean, they're race guns, so you're cleaning them, every third shot, something like that?
Well,
or third month, or 3 times a year.
Yeah, give or take. Or my job is I hire Benji to come out to the shop and have him clean them. Yeah,
go Benji.
Well,
but how about thumbing the hammer, or just getting a good clean grip on it when your hands are cold, or when they're hot and sweaty?
Mm-hmm.
No, I've done that before. Tombstone, it was freezing and windy and everything else, and you needed like a tea cozy kind of handle thing to put over your handle just because it was so cold.
Oh man, I bet. Ugh.
So speed wise, what would you rather be in the cold with the mis-setting of the actual round, or in the possible slip of a round in the heat? What it was?
For me, I like it when it's cold because it's easier to stay warm by putting a jacket on, versus when you have to shoot when it's really hot at 100-degree temperature. Trying to find somewhere to go cool off, not possible.
Yeah. Okay. See, now, I'm just a fair weather cowboy.
It's a window, 78 to 88.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good, and I'm there. It varies either way. Forget about it.
This is supposed to be fun.
Switch over and shoot with us then, because a lot of times we shoot indoors.
Oh, I know.
It's plenty civilized.
One of these days, I will get out there and do that with you. All right, Brian. As always, thanks for the call.
Thanks, Brian.
You're welcome.
Take care.
Great show.
Thanks. All right, let's jump over to Farmer Tice in Phoenix. How are you?
Farmer Tice, evening.
Better than most, not as good as some.
There you go.
Anyway, Brian reminded me of what Harpo Marx had said in his autobiography, Harpo Speaks, about the coldness and the heat in New York when he was a kid. He said he could always find some place to get warm, no matter, and he was dirt poor, no matter where he was at. But he said when it got really hot in New York, he said there was no escape,
no place to go
anywhere.
Very
so
true.
He made the point.
Yeah.
I see that I see Larry Elder's picture. I've been seeing a lot of his posts, and Larry Elder is very special to me. I've known him since the 90s, and I was on his show in 2014. If you've ever heard about his life, it's truly fascinating. He wrote this book, Dear Father, Dear Son. I don't know, have you any of you read it?
I have not. I have not yet, let's say.
We met a couple of times. He's a good guy.
Kevin read it.
It's a great book. I've read it about twice already, and Larry gave a copy to my son Harmon, autographed, and he wrote a little something special for him. And Larry is a workaholic. I would get messages from him at 2 a.m. I've never seen anybody work so hard. His father was the same way. His father worked at least 18 hours a day, and he worked 7 days a week. And Larry ended up hating his father because his father was just downright mean. And so he hadn't seen his dad for about 10 years. And then finally they reconciled when his father told him things that Larry never knew about him. one of the things is that Elder is not his last name.
Younger?
And Elder was a name. His mother was Lady of the Evening. And Elder happened to be one of her clients, one that Larry's dad happened to like. He didn't know what his real last name was. So when he went to school, the schoolmaster asked him what his last name was, and he didn't know. So he just told him it was Elder. And that's how Larry got his name.
Oh.
The very fascinating man.
Yep. Absolutely.
I'll tell you what, if you think he's the hardest working guy, meet Jeff. Seriously.
Well, anyway, Farmer, listen, we got a bunch of phone calls we got to get to. Thanks. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks,
Take
Farmer
care.
Ty. It's always good to hear
Let's
from
get to Christopher in L.A. Christopher, what can we do for you, sir?
Evening.
Good evening, Jeff. 38, a 380 or 25. I just got approved. It's going to be my first weapon.
A 380 or a 25 ACP?
Oh, 380 all the way. I am not a big fan of 25.
How badly do you want to annoy people?
Yeah, a 25 will leave a good
I
welt.
just want a personal carry. Just keep it tucked in, just in case,
Absolutely go with
the rodeo breaks out.
Yeah, a 38 or a 380 over a 25.
Every
not
time,
not a big fan. Usually the 25 ammo guns are small and, the Lorson Davis.
Oh, but even the little Colt vest pocket.
Yeah,
pistols
and
the Bowers
comfortably
and stuff.
small. They're not just small.
And don't work well and always have problems with the magazine. I'm not a big fan of the 25.
Cute Dandy doesn't hit hard
all the
enough for
way.
serious work.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
So just divert from the. You think Lee Oswald did it in 8.5 seconds, 3 rounds?
Yes, I do.
I don't think so. I don't think he did that.
I do. I mean, when both rounds end up in Senator Connolly, how do you explain it? Everybody says, "Oh, back and to the left." Well, bullet ended up in a guy.
It was a moving target, Jeff. It was a movie.
He was moving at about 5 miles an hour, and he was shooting downwards at about between 50 and 75 yards. That's not a difficult shot for him.
With the bolt action, though, Jeff, like 8.
Professional.
Okay.
Look up the Mad Minute. Christopher, look up the Mad Minute.
Mm-hmm.
And find out how that supports Jeff's argument.
Yeah, and not
Seriously,
only that,
look up Mad Minute.
You got to get rid of all that stuff that you heard in the JFK movie. All the because that's it was garbage. Just because
he was a Marine. Marines,
and he was a Marine marksman. So he qualified marksman.
Not a run of the mill.
Yeah, that is not a run of the mill shooter. I think maybe a 70-year-old.
Based on your experience with that bolt action, is possible.
I can tell you right now, I could do it. And he's, I'm going to be 65 years old this summer. He was in his early 30s, late 20s, and was trained as a Marine to shoot. I'm certain he could do it. So.
Okay, Sergeant Major Jesse Wallingford in 1908, 36 hits on a 48-inch target. 36 hits on a 48-inch target at 300 yards in 60 seconds.
So there you go.
Bolt action rifle.
Yeah.
Love you guys. Thank you guys. Love you guys.
Thank you, sir.
Chris.
Take care now.
Thanks, man.
God bless you.
The debate continues.
Yeah. Well, again, just read Case Closed by last name Posner. Gerard Posner. Yeah. Read that and then get back to me because he puts everything to bed.
Yeah.
Okay. Ryan, what do we got time left? Okay. Real quick, let's get to Howard in West LA. Howard, what can we do for you, sir?
Evening, Howard.
On my smartphone, YouTube, there were 2 sets of shooting programs. One was cowboy action shooting, and I'd see these elderly people trundling around, hitting things, only what they aimed at. Mm-hmm. And there's a guy in my train club. I think I mentioned his name to Mark. What was a drugstore cowboy?
Oh yeah, I remember him.
time has gotten to him. He's not doing it anymore.
Yeah.
Cataracts and bad ankle. Then there was another program. Oh, there was a guy, a young fella, during the rifle shooting. He could make a lever-action rifle shoot almost as fast as a BAR.
Yeah, that would have been Mike Wilcox, our good friend, Smokestack.
The current world record for 10 shots is 1.47 seconds.
5 pieces of brass in the air. And somebody responded to my comment saying, yes, he was shooting an AR 1894.
Well, an AR 1873, but yeah.
I like it. Yeah.
And then there was another, this couple, turns out they're in Australia, Mark and Samantha, and they're doing some hellaciously long shots. The shortest shot he ever made that was on the YouTube channel was 1,000 yards offhand with a Henry 45-70.
That's a heck of a shot.
Guys that could shoot at a 1,000-yard target and hit it by the third or fourth shot.
That is impressive.
Offhand.
I can't even see that far.
I was gonna say, imagine how high was the elevator on that site?
Farther than that, you can see stars that are light years away.
Yeah. Well, fair enough. Howard, we got to go. We're coming up on the break. Thanks for the call.
Thanks, Howard.
All right, Sean and Kavina and John in Orange County, we'll get to you guys right after this. You're listening to Gunslingers right here on
the Gunslingers Syndicated Radio Network.
And we'll be back right after this.
Come on back.
I do answer for you, little lamb. I can help you. That's a great song.
Yeah, boy.
It's a Paul McCartney song you never hear.
Ended up on a seaside. I don't know which side that was.
Oh.
Whether you're a perfect borrower or not so perfect, I can help. I'm local. I live right here in Southern California.
It's going to be a tough drive home, boy. I tell you. It's amazing how long an hour and 5-10 minutes can be when you're tired.
That's... Yeah.
And both my phones are saying rain expected for the next couple of hours.
Oh, great. I'm on the motorcycle.
Oh, yeah.
I'm on the dirt bike, no less. Nice slip and slide. I'm a cowboy. I could take it. Can't wait to be home. It's the last time I believe a weather report.
Right.
Come on. How hard is it? How hard is it?
Stick your head out the window and look up.
I still have pinned up on my refrigerator an old Burr Schaefer cartoon where a guy is leaving the patent office with an angry look on his face, and the patent officer is explaining, I think people know when it's cold enough to put on a coat or light a fire, Mr. Fahrenheit.
Oh, that's the stage sponsor thingies?
Yes, I got that one for you. Ah, damn it, I didn't bring it. It's the next time I'll say I have it. They're actually nice pieces. It's on the dashboard of the van, the 2003 Honda. Don't know how much longer we have.
Everyone is just beat the shit today.
Yeah. Long weekend for everybody.
Night of the Zombies, baby.
Brains. This one's empty.
Morgan. God, that movie creeped me out when I was a kid.
Which one?
Last Man on Earth.
Oh.
Vincent Price. His best friend is trying to eat him all the time. Morgan, or the horrible thing where he doesn't have the heart to burn his wife.
600 shot with a 44 man read his book, folks. Hell, I was there.
Hell, I Was There. Elmer Keith book.
Man, it was cool to see Captain Rick this weekend too. I took a picture with him. It's up on my stuff.
I saw it. Yeah.
And if anyone can hear this right now, the picture with the picture I took with the gentleman with the big orange signs, that is the infamous Brent. So you look at that, you can see him right there, smiling away with me. Love that man. He's such a great friend.
He always has a great intro for us.
Oh, man.
Right?
People were giving him as many props as they were coming up to me. It was really cool.
That is cool.
Well, he calls it every show.
And Gritchy and Adam and Janelle, love seeing you guys there. I met with the Redlands Tea Party, Mary from Whiteman. Had a whole list of people I was keeping track of.
Who are on the road must have a code that you can live by, and so become yourself, because the past is just a goodbye.
Okay, here's trivia question of the night. Who played the slide guitar on that?
Is that Sneaky Pete Kleinow?
Nope.
Jib Gilbo?
Nope.
I'm running out of guys.
Jerry Garcia.
That's what I was going to... Oh,
No kidding.
you played this game with me before, and I was like, I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but I remember.
Yeah, that was the one and only Jerry Garcia.
That's a very iconic line.
Yeah, that's absolutely. All right, let's get back to the phones. Let's get to John in Orange County. John, what can we do for you, sir?
Hey, I would have guessed Jerry Garcia on that. I knew that one.
Hey.
Also, I read Posner's book. You were absolutely right. You can't read that book and believe anyone but Oswald did it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he just everything that has been stretched so, magic bullet baloney and all that stuff.
People hiding in the sewer.
Yeah, it's come on. Read that book and you go, okay.
He puts all that to rest.
Yep.
Hey, my question is, my son is a customs officer assigned to in Georgia right now. If he were to buy an AR-15 rifle in Georgia, where the rules are much less restrictive, can he wants to come back to California eventually? What are the rules for him bringing that back into California? Could he buy a rifle that you don't have the a fixed magazine and all the other crap that California?
The answer is yes, he can buy it. But it's a good question.
Even police officers can't have so-called assault rifles in California, so he'd have to California-ize it, and by that you have to put something like a Juggernaut kit or something that
fin.
Yeah, or the fin.
You got to replace any flash hider with a muzzle brake.
No collapsible stock, which makes so much sense. Folding stock, because you could hurt somebody with a fold. I guess maybe your finger will get pinched in there.
A shorter gun makes it much more dangerous. You know that.
Oh, is that what it is? Oh, I thought maybe they were afraid somebody pinched their finger.
And the angle of a grip will make it much more dangerous as well. So
yeah,
the long and short is,
and that's the point. Yeah.
As long as it's not specifically banned by name, it can be massaged till it's California legal, and there are shops that do that.
Yeah, but as we put it, neutered.
Yeah. But honestly,
I'm a police officer, and I own a non-neutered AR-15 rifle. I'm old and approaching retirement, so when I retire, do I have to have that thing neutered?
You do, if it's your own personal property. California, because there have been police officers that have been arrested with them. So I would highly recommend after you retire to get that squared away.
Good Lord.
I know.
Okay, one last question for you guys. About, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago, you had a guy who specialized in the Beretta 92Fs. I was driving at the time, and I still carried my old Beretta 92F. I'd be interested in contacting that guy who does some work on those. Do you happen to recall the
Blackbeard Customs? It's Blackbeard Customs or blackbeardcustoms.com. Make sure you let them know that you heard from the Gunslingers and all that. Yeah, it's Avitas over there. He's a great guy. And yeah, I'd love to promote him some more. And just one more time, Blackbeard Customs. He's on Facebook. He's out of Texas.
You know what state that's in?
He's in Texas. He was out here, but he moved out there because it's just smarter.
Yeah. So he's in Texas and all of that, and you can go ahead and contact him in any of the socials or on his website. If I can, I'll make sure to put it up on either the screen, or if you can jump online, I'll have his info up there too.
All righty.
Okay, hey, great show, guys. I always enjoy it, and thanks a lot, and have a good night.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, let's jump over to our friend Sean in Covina. How are you, Sean?
Woodpecker over here. What's going on?
I am doing good, and I want to give greetings to the three amigos of the 2A. I want to give you a little pep talk and also talk to you about the auction. Mm-hmm. Now, let's go to your pep talk. Last week, you're feeling a little down. Oh, we're talking about the TC 73 9mm. He said, "Oh, I know myself. I'll just lose that barrel cover or shroud." And I was thinking to myself, if only Jeff knew someone who could silver solder it or Loctite it on. And I said, he's a MacGyver. He fixes trucks, cars.
Yeah, true that.
Captain of industry. He saved Little John's auction. That guy can do it all. You can do it all. I'm going to say this right now to you, Jeff. You're good enough. You're smart enough. And God,
people like you. Oh, yeah.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do. We like you, Jeff. And not only that, you buy that TC, and if you don't like it, Mark, Jimmy, or myself, we'll gladly buy it for $600 after you're done.
Hey,
I appreciate that. Thank you
are
kindly.
all class, Sean.
Especially when it's going to cost me about $1,800 to get out of here.
600 is a decent price.
Hey, we're not going to pay full price after you monkeyed around with it.
What do you think you are, me? All right, Sean.
Anyway, back to the auction.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to ask you some questions about the auction. Now, the sealed bid, is that done through you guys or through your third? Okay, good.
Yeah.
So I can do a sealed party bid with you.
Correct.
And not pay the fees from your...
the fees, those are proxy bid fees. You know, our fees are always the same.
We won't do the proxy bid. I don't mind paying your fees, but I don't want to pay their
extra.
Okay?
Understood.
And then
One of
the
the
live
smartest ways to go about it,
bidding
Sean.
is self-evident. You have to be in there to bid, but the phone bid, let's say you're a little shy inside the building, could you do a phone bid just calling in, or would that be not kosher?
Oh, no, we do. We do phone bids. We've got several guys that'll be there taking phone bids. And
so, if I'm in the auction, can I, you know what I'm saying, do the phone bid there because so I don't mess things up there? I might get a little too excited, and I might.
We rely on that. Yes, you can do phone bids if you don't want to put your hand up in the air. You can do a phone bid, and we'll get you Jimmy on the phone or my son Andy.
Sean, I do them all
our
the
good
time.
friend Ed, Mr. Pyle. So we've got lots of guys that will take the phone calls from you.
And if you find yourself getting too excited, knock back a couple of beers. That'll help relax you.
Relax it on down.
No, 3 or 4.
Get that paddle up in the air where it belongs.
And just keep it there.
We always recommend.
Then I'll be really crazy. I'll be bidding on what is it? An Oster. Was it the Asta 9mm?
That's right.
That's right. 9mm in Largo, none of them in Luger.
Yeah, it's happened.
Yeah, but Sean, we always recommend if you can't be there live and you really don't feel like hitting up those premiums online and all that, please make sure you call in beforehand and get your name on either the pre-bid, the list to be a phone bidder or to be a sealed bid. Those are the ways.
You can actually now go to the website and there's a box to click on to put in your pre-bid.
And so we don't lose you. All your information should be correct in there. So
there it is right there.
Let me ask you another question on sealed bid. Has any sealed bid been successful, or is it just better just to bid?
Yeah. How we deal with the sealed bids is we start where the internet leaves off on every item. So if the internet bid something up to $500, that's where we started. And if you bid $800, I got $500 online. We got to be $550. Got $550 on sealed bid. Now anybody got to be $600. Who bid $600? Anybody $600? Yes. No. We got to go. Yeah. It says $600. Anybody $600? Sold. And your bid could have been $1,000, but because nobody else took it, it stops at 550. So the first bid it will be you, and then if it keeps going, then you can lose out because it may go over you, but it will at least get you to there. But we don't do it where some people will start at, you'll say, well, I'll go as high as $1,000, and they started at $1,000.
No.
Yeah. We don't do that. We start at wherever the internet left off, and you get, in the correct increments, you get to bid until we go past you. That's when you lose.
Yeah,
out.
we don't start you at your ceiling. We make sure to start you where the internet's leaving off.
Yeah, so that way we try and keep it as fair
Win-win.
as possible. All right.
Okay, thank you. And what did I say? You were smart enough, and you are good enough, and you deserve that TP.
Thank you kindly. We'll talk to you later, Sean. Thanks
Sean.
again.
God
Bye-bye.
bless you.
Good man, Sean.
Just jump over to Ed in Riverside. How are you?
I'm pretty well, thanks. How about you?
Well, you know what I always say.
Tired after an auction. No, you went to the Patriot.
No,
meeting.
actually, no. We were at Mark and I were at the California State Championship.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, hopefully you did well. I since we missed the first hour of the show here at 590, I don't.
I know.
Sorry about that. Cut to the chase. Jeff won his category.
Well,
As did Mark, yeah.
And I was
Excellent.
at the IE Conservative Convention, just in case. Yeah, I was over there.
We don't just talk a good game.
Right. Well, my question had to do with the Beretta 92 FS.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the other day, it's called the Brigadier model,
Mm-hmm.
and it has a thicker slide. And, they just put more metal into the slide, made it wider, and I'm wondering why. I've never heard of any problems with those. Do you know, did they have problems with
The
them in order
locking
to
block.
foster the development of that model?
Well, first off, isn't the Brigadier a 40 cal?
If it's a 40 cal, you need the greater thickness,
Yeah.
which is the long and the short of it.
Yeah, being a 40 cal, it's a heavier recoil, so you're going to have to make the gun a little bit heavier, and that's why they did that. So
I did not. Well, it didn't say that it was.
Well, I believe they did make a 9mm Brigadier later, but the original ones were the
9mm.
Yeah, if I recall, the Brigadier was a Model 96 in 40 cal, and then they came out later on with the 92 Brigadier in 9mm, and likely to keep things from having to redesign a lot of stuff, because all you'd have to do is pretty much change the barrel and the mag and have it in 9mm. Likely why they did it that way, but off the top of my head, I can't think of any other reason.
That's just a little more robust. The early Berettas had a problem with the locking block.
Yeah, the
cracking, if I recall correctly.
The Model F had a lot of problems with cracking.
And the Brigadier has the front sight that's adjustable, right? Or it's dovetailed in. Is that the one?
Man, it's been so long since I've seen one. I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I know they had the formed grip on the leading edge of the handle.
Mm-hmm.
It molds for your fingers, so people may not like that or may like it. But
if it fits you, you're a tall cotton.
Yeah.
Funny deal.
Well, yeah, I wasn't even aware until just now that they made anything other than a 9mm.
Oh, yeah.
Set. Did they ever make a 45?
Not in the 92 series, no.
That gun in a 45.
Would be an interesting. I think that because of the staggered mag, it would probably be a much thicker grip.
Or you'd have a single stack, because there would be enough room in there for it.
For a
that is a
single,
big
yeah.
grip. That's a big grip frame.
Yeah, it's an idea. I don't know. Let's call Italy and we'll work on it.
Get on their phone right now. They've been in business 525. Tell them who you are, Jeff.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and then they'll hang up on me. All right, Ed. Thanks for the call. We'll talk to you later.
All right.
Take care.
Thank you. God bless.
Take care.
God bless.
All right, guys, we're in our last segment.
Whoa! I was just looking up the Brigadier, and it looks like as if maybe they only on Bretta's website. I only see the Brigadier in 9 now.
Well,
well, there you go.
Wow!
Goes to show what I know.
No, I'm just saying how the times they are changing.
Yeah.
Huh?
Well, in the meantime,
40's dying on the vine.
Yeah. In the meantime, you're listening to the Gunslingers. We got to go. We'll be back right after this.
Yes, you will.
Yeah, first one's for the 96 Brigadiers, and 96 is a 40 cal.
And it's still stating that it's weighted pretty heavily still just to reduce the recoil. So maybe they haven't changed too much on the slide portion, having it still bigger and heavier.
Super deluxe.
Super deluxe. Sounds delicious.
Mm.
Fatigue.
Oh,
Je suis fatigué.
Everybody, that's GunslingerAuctions.com.
Well, since she put me down, I've been out doing in my head. I come in late at night, and in the morning I just lay in bed. Ronda, you look so fine, and I know it doesn't take much time for you to help me, Ronda, help me get her out of my heart.
Bow, 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 bow. What a great song. Welcome back, everybody, to Gunslingers right here on
the Gunslinger Syndicated Radio Network.
And we're in our last segment.
Last segment. Fastest 2 hours on radio, folks.
Fastest 2 hours, period.
We were, yeah.
Well, and speaking of which, let's get to Brent in L.A. Brent, how are you?
Brent, shalom.
Shalom, you champion pats on backs and gambling gunslinger.
Hey, Brent, it was really nice seeing you again at the IE Conservative Summit. It's always cool seeing you. Your signs were a big hit, and you are just the infamous and famous Brent.
Yeah, and Jimmy, it was just great seeing and talking with you yesterday, and our divinely diverse and awesomely inclusive Unite IE celebration of sanity, godliness, and the MAGA supremacy movement.
Amen, amen. Yeah, that was a wonderful time we had. Great speakers out there.
Absolutely. And when I spoke to Larry Elder, I told him we have to change his leftist lunatic LA Times appellation of being the blackface of the white supremacy movement to Larry Elder, the blackface of the MAGA supremacy movement.
Yeah. I love how he holds that term, that frame in pride. He says it with pride, chest out. He knows exactly why they call him that. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, they're just such awful people. And I'm thinking, with Riley Gaines, she has become an American heroine who we need to get on the show.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, great. And she's a courageous woman and a lady who I bet can help make firearms for authentic feminists great again. And let's get her together with Holy Terror. I think it would be a great match.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
I think the new faces of the feminists, the true feminists for actually women movement is an amazing co-op of people we have. We have Riley, and then again, Jennifer Horn was sitting right next to her, and these are voices for the biological true women of this world, and speaking up for their rights and what they can do. Everything. Come on,
just voices of sanity.
Absolutely, strength and sanity. That's what that's the new primary.
Exactly. I think we have to keep pushing. The authentic feminists are the conservative Republicans and the Christians and the Jewish women who are standing up for God and truth and liberty and everything else.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was a great showing. Like, not only was it a great diverse panel, the different panels that we had up there, the crowd, extremely diverse. Male, female, every color shade under the sun. It was a beautiful sight, and it was just incredible.
It was just joyful. They talk. The other side likes to pretend they're joyful and pretend they're happy. Pretend they're. It's like you go to these conventions and groups, and it's just fun. It's just so full of energy.
Yeah.
And on the other side, they're always so bitter, spiteful, and shouty.
How do you know what they're up to is by what they're accusing us of?
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
Always and forever.
And sanity doesn't have a race or a gender or a creed. It's just sanity, man.
It's such a big thing that the most tolerant people, the most people that think they're tolerant are the most intolerant people I've ever met.
Well, the irony.
I know.
They can't even tell you what a woman is.
The proof of that is everywhere you go where there's a celebration of joy and happiness and togetherness and patriotism, you have to have a whole bunch of guys with guns protecting us from these monsters. If you go to a sporting event, I went to Shenyang today, the wonderful Chinese dance group, and it was loaded with security. You had to go through airport security to be able to watch what they consider in China the controversial traditional Chinese dance.
Wow. Well, I think it's controversial because it's pre-communism dance, right?
Yeah, pre-Mao.
Yeah.
And pre-misery. It's just it is so hopeful, happy, and I wish everybody can see it. It's the first time I've gone to it. It's absolutely amazing.
Chinese river dance, man.
Yeah. Very cool. All right, Brent. Sorry we missed you yesterday, but Mark and I were busy at another event.
Next time.
Yeah, next time
you're
around.
doing great.
All right.
But it was great seeing you again, brother. I can't wait till next time we get to meet up.
Okay, we'll talk to you soon.
See ya.
Take care now.
Always a good call.
Yeah, if anyone's online right now, you can see a picture of
there you go.
Brent and I, and his awesome. So make boys men again and love God, gas, guns, and girls, baby. Like you got to protect all those natural resources.
Very good.
I love the fact that he's rolling up with the signs.
Oh yeah,
and handwritten, not handed to him.
No,
right.
Those are all made by himself. Taped onto rulers because he's a man who does it all DIY all the way, baby.
Well, call him MacGyver, not me.
I know. Yeah, it was really
oh man, oh man, oh man. I don't know about you guys, but my butt's dragging about a half inch off the floor.
Oh man,
we love you all, but it will be good to be headed home.
Yep. Oh, you know what? We got another call. Kurt in Las Vegas. Let's jump out to Kurt. What can we do for you, sir?
Evening, Kurt.
Yeah, you had a gentleman from California, and his son was in the military in Georgia, wants to buy an AR and then eventually come home to California. I used to live in California, and basically I could not bear to neuter my AR. And my suggestion to his son and to him is to just get a Mini 14. It does... you don't have to worry about any of that features that are on ARs, and you have the same capabilities out of a Mini. Then
very true.
I agree with you, Kurt.
Classic in the standard.
I agree with you. It flies under the radar.
Yeah, and I mean, as far as accuracy, they're both right about the same. You know, to 100 yards, both of them are excellent. So,
I mean, bells and whistles begotten. You don't need. That's a functional machine that does exactly what you need it to do.
I tell you what, if you can get the Hogue overmold stock on those things, oh man, that's such a nice stock.
I put a Hogue overmolded on mine and a rail on the front and a dot sight on the front, a 3-minute dot.
Come on,
and you're good to go.
Absolutely. Yeah, that stock makes a world of difference.
That's
for
a
that
real
guy.
good shout out.
So, all right. Well, hopefully he's still listening and he heard that. And there's an idea of Kurt. We appreciate it. Thanks for calling from Las Vegas.
Absolutely. Thanks for listening.
You bet. Take care now. Okay, so what do we got shooting-wise coming up? Not really much anything.
We're kind of heading towards the summer doldrums.
Yeah, and then
there's I'm trying to think what there is.
Well, the Western Regional is going to be in Nevada this year, and that's November.
All the way November.
Yeah,
which, given the weather, makes a certain sense.
Yeah.
What's between here and there? Guns of August. I might go out and do that one.
Yeah,
I might go out and do Guns of August.
I'll be too busy. I'm not. I don't. Yeah, I know what else is new. I don't know. I don't think much of anything other than just monthly matches for a while.
That's it.
Yeah.
There's Northfield Raid. That's in November too.
Yeah, and
man.
Well, Border Town, but that's in October.
That's in October.
Wow. So we got to. I kind of like the summer off kind of.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that. You were talking about loading ammunition for the match the night before the match. I was too, and my 650. I still have a 650. The primer mechanism broke.
Oh, been there, done that.
And so I'm scrambling around the house at like 3 o'clock in the morning, looking for loose. I was like looking for change in your sofa, looking for there's a cartridge. There's a cartridge.
Yeah, been there, done that.
We'll talk about how it goes with Dylan when I call him tomorrow morning.
Well, you know what always goes out for me is the little capper pin.
Yes.
Because, with 45s especially, and it
Big
happened,
case, little hole.
Yeah, and so you're cruising along, all of a sudden, uh-oh. And I look, and it's like, I don't think that's supposed to be pointing upwards. Yeah, it's literally hanging a U-turn on me. I was like, and oddly enough, they don't straighten out very well. So, I have a box of about 100 of them. Just
that ain't wrong.
Yeah, but the problem is it, it's 10 minutes taking the thing out and putting it back together. And
then that fiddly little E-clip that breaks some.
Yeah. Well, those are called Jesus clips. Because when you every time you try and pop one out and then it goes flying in. Yeah.
By the way, Ace Hardware has those.
That I believe.
Ask me how I know.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Ace, what time do they close?
It's 3 a.m. I think they're still open. Oh, man. All right. Well, guys, thanks for sticking with us this week. Because like I said, me and Mark and Jimmy, we've had a long couple of days. So we're a little burned out.
Kind of beat up. But you know what? We made it here. We made it here for you guys because you guys are always making it here for us.
Are the best.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys all for watching online, and want to make sure you guys are liking these videos. Anytime if you're on any of the streams, make sure you hit that like before you go. And
like us, share us.
Share us. And share us. At the end of the show, you can just share it with someone else you like, and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next one.
Yeah, and thanking all the callers and the guys in the booth and Ryan over here on our left, and there's the old music on the wall.
That means music on the wall. How tired are you?
I say that every week.
The music on the wall.
There's the old music on the wall. All right, folks. Don't forget to smile. Just a little curse. That's a lot of things straight. Thank you, Leon. We'll see you guys next week. And don't forget, right after Father's Day, Motor Slingers. Goodbye, everybody.
Love you guys. Good night. God bless you.
This program was sponsored by the Gunslinger Shops.
AM 870, The Answer. It's time for us to unite and come together.
When you hear the term living better, what do you think about? More money, a bigger house, maybe a yacht? What about how you feel physically?